Yo, how's it going, everybody? It's the Masked Man, and today I'm going to be recommending 4 mangas that I think are super underappreciated and that you should get into. Now, I covered these stories before and I've done videos on them, so some of you are probably familiar with them already, but these are stories that I think overall deserve a lot more attention than they are currently getting, and that I think you should personally get into. Now, let's get the first one out of the way, Magi. Now, Magi is the most popular one on this list, for sure, due to it having an anime adaptation not only for Magi the series, but also for the Adventures of Sinbad prequel, and whilst although neither anime adaptation fully covers what's in the manga, I do think nonetheless that Magi is still really underappreciated nowadays. It's a wonderful magical series, essentially, and it's capable of introducing you with some of your favorite characters. Now, the premise is a little bit tricky to discuss without making this too long, as you could start with either Adventures of Sinbad or Magi. But essentially, there are these people who go dungeon hunting, and when they go dungeon hunting, they get the spirit of a djinn, which essentially gives them the power of a king. And of course, this leads to things such as war, conquering, creating new kingdoms, and all of the sorts. The series does provide Sinbad one of the best anime characters in my eyes of all time, or at least one of my favorites. It's filled with fantastic world building, great and amazing comedic moments with a very versatile and wide cast, and it's easily one of the best magic-based series out there. Now, my love for the series definitely grew after reading the Adventures of Sinbad prequel, which I'm pretty sure is still ongoing, which really gives you a look into one of its most important and fundamentally great characters, again, Sinbad. Now, as for the actual ending of Magi, that's where the weak point of the series does come in, but nonetheless it provides with so much greatness beforehand. I still think it's a series that most people can really enjoy and have fun with if they get into it. Now, the next manga I'm going to be recommending is Pluto. Pluto is by far one of the most slept on series of all time, as it's written by Naoki Urasawa, and Urasawa is better known for his series like Monster and 20th Century Boys. But honestly, for me, Pluto is just as good, and for me, slightly better than 20th Century Boys, and it's right below Monster, and I think it definitely deserves just as much attention as those two. The overall premise of Pluto is essentially an arc taken from Astro Boy, the original Astro Boy, and now turned into a murder mystery. I know it sounds a little crazy, but that's actually what the madman did. He took an arc from the original Astro Boy, yes, the Astro Boy you're thinking of, and turned it into a murder mystery, and one of the best in it of that. Now, I've already done a review on Pluto, and so you could go check out that video if you want to get some more of my thoughts on the series, but overall, the real selling point for this is that if you are someone who enjoyed Monster a lot or 20th Century Boys, Pluto is the perfect read for you. And in fact, if you haven't read Monster or 20th Century Boys, I would actually recommend you to read Pluto first, as I think it is the perfect encapsulation of everything Urasawa is capable of doing as a mangaka. He really does showcase his ability to create an amazing mystery within a story and keep the audience on the edge of their seat constantly. This is probably one of the most efficient stories of all time that I've read, as in only 60 chapters, it's able to really feel like a 200 chapter story. It constantly pushes the narrative, pushes the mystery, introduces all of these great side characters who lead up to the main mystery of the antagonist, which is Pluto. Now, recently I've been watching Code Geass, something that's been praised as one of the best animes of all time, but I guarantee you that if Pluto got a well-done anime adaptation, they would throw Pluto up there with Code Geass. I think that with the bottom of all my heart. It's an elaborate story, a well-done puzzle, all pieced together intricately for a grand climax that is one of the most satisfying reads you will have. So if you're thinking of reading something and you don't want it to be too long, something that you don't really have to commit yourself in the long term for, Pluto's definitely the read for you. Now, the next story I'm going to be recommending is the reason why I changed my profile picture, and he's easily one of my favorite characters in all of anime or manga without question, and that is Akumetsu. Of all the mangas that I have on this list, I guarantee you Akumetsu is the most underappreciated of them all, and I mean the most underappreciated. I didn't hear about Akumetsu until a little more recently due to a homie, and I'm pretty sure some of you, again, have probably already heard of it due to the video I already did on it. But Akumetsu is essentially the ultimate troll in terms of being a protagonist. Imagine if Light Yagami from Death Note said, nah, I don't need a Death Note, I'm gonna do it with a Glock. That is exactly what Akumetsu is. He is the harbinger of justice, he is the bringer of punishment for all evil in Japan, and reading how he does this throughout the entire story is one of the most entertaining and mind-blowing things that you could possibly read. Now, it definitely isn't the quality story that I think Pluto is, and the mystery isn't nearly as good, but Akumetsu also has a fantastic ending, and listen, this is me to you. This is me to you, from homie to homie, from Masked Man to you. Yes, you. Please read this. Check it out. do me a favor, right? I've only ever done this with the Spawn video, but I love this character too much for him to be as underappreciated as he is. The story does go pretty in depth more than any other series when it comes to what does true justice mean, and what are the acceptable means to achieving said justice. It's really interesting to see it, and it's honestly one of the most entertaining reads you will have. This is one of the only stories where I can say it doesn't need side characters at all, because the protagonist just carries the series that much. Akumetsu literally threw the football, ran to it, caught it himself, and made the touchdown. That's all I'm gonna say. And now that I think about it, even though he is the protagonist of the series, it really is as if, what if the antagonist was now the protagonist? Usually the force that everyone's trying to defeat is now the main focus and is the main character, and it's super dope. Now the next one I'm gonna get out of the way relatively quick, and it's already, the video I did on it's already pretty big, but I still think it's extremely underappreciated in comparison to its counterparts Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen, as I think this series is equally as good, low-key better. And that is of course Hell's Paradise Herjigo Kuraku. This series is absolutely insane. One of my favorite protagonists out of the new gen, Gabimaru the Hollow, someone who wants to find purpose in living, and the whole mystery behind his character is quite the doozy. In fact, a lot of the concepts within Hell's Paradise are very wacky, but also well explained and executed to a T. This has one of the strongest casts I have ever seen, as well as all of the side characters contribute some sort of subplot that is very interesting and do not come off as useless, and when it's their time to shine, all of them are given the proper time to shine. It's as equally as disturbing as it is fun and entertaining, and well, for someone like me, I think that's a nice touch to have within a series. And if there's anything I can say for the least about Jigokuraku Hell's Paradise, is that you will never not be entertained reading this manga. It is one of the most fast-paced and rapid reads you will have. You will blaze through these 100+ chapters like nothing. Now it's still ongoing. Akumetsu has ended. Magi, the original series, has ended, while Sinbad is still ongoing and Pluto's ended. So I'm really excited to see how they wrap things up within Hell's Paradise, but I genuinely love this manga. Now these are my 4 recommendations based off of what I've read. Now there are a few other things that I could definitely throw in here, but these are the 4 that came to my mind instantly when I thought to myself, what are 4 really underappreciated stories that I want to kind of spread the message of a little more? Go ahead and let me know what are some of the most underappreciated stories in your eyes down in the comment section below. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. That way you notify whenever a new video pops up on some of your favorite anime, manga, or whatever content. As always, this has been The Masked Man. Hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day, and peace.